Around the late 80s, I went and began swimming with dolphins. We connected with a man who had just befriended a pod of wild dolphins back in over those years. We began a program called Dolphin Camp, and I spent 12 years taking people down to the Florida Keys and the Yucatan of Mexico to swim with dolphins. We swam with dolphins in semi-captive settings and also dolphins out in the wild. Talk about another life-changing experience. A lot of the research that was done on dolphins was done by a man named Dr. John Lilly. John Lilly's work was funded by NASA because NASA believed if they could break the code of the dolphin language, they could break the code of the ET language. So John Lilly got several hundreds of thousands of dollars to do these various tests with dolphins. And there were some really critical things that were discovered. One was that dolphins live in all 4 brainwave states at the same time: alpha, beta, delta, and theta. Beta is our really active, we're running around driving the car. That's our kind of fast brain wavelength. Alpha is when we're in a meditative state or a deep resting state or kind of at peace within ourselves and quiet. Beta and alpha are the common states we function. You take a Tibetan Lama or someone who meditates, does very, very deep meditation, they will go into delta and theta. Some of the things that were discovered is that when we get really in alignment in our brain and the left and right brain hemispheres start talking to each other, communicate with each other, we have something we would call a genius state occur. You get a brilliant idea, hands-on healing, channeling, if you believe in such things. Any type of really extremely magical, highly intelligent human state. What's happening at that point in time is we are literally going into alpha, beta, delta, and theta all at once. There's a kind of synchronicity that happens between the hemispheres of the brain and all of our brainwave patterns, and we get these moments of clarity, of brilliance, of creativity, of empowerment. Well, one of the really interesting things we learned with dolphins was when you swim with dolphins on a regular basis, when we have one brainwave pattern that's like this and another one that comes close to it and it's a little different, those 2 brainwave patterns will entrain to each other or become synchronized. And by being with dolphins on a regular basis about 2 or 3 months out of the year for about 7 years, and particularly with wild dolphins, although I was also with some in the semi-captive settings where we could be closer and have dorsal toes and foot push toes, and they would play with us. In the wild, they would play with us as well. It was just a bigger environment. You had to be a better swimmer, and it was a little more distant interaction. But they'd bring us seaweed to play with and flip me a sand dollar on their tail, swim along beside me over and under. Babies would come up and say hello. Really amazing, amazing experience. So the beauty of that experience and the magic of that experience, I believe during that time period that something shifted in my brain, and I was in some ways entrained to this more open, more diverse brainwave pattern that the dolphins lived in. When I would be swimming underwater with the dolphins, I would literally see light that was not visible with the naked eye. I would literally hear a music. I would hear these sounds I only know to call celestial music. Very miraculous, beautiful, and amazing experience. And it enriched the maps of my reality in a way that it almost opened me up to my own paranormal capabilities. Well, there are many ways to do that. I've spent a lot of years hiking in the mountains. We ride on horseback in the mountains sometimes. Just being out in nature, looking at the sky, looking at the stars, sleeping outdoors in a tent, going in a raft down a river. There are many ways to integrate ourselves with our own deeper capabilities, but we have to make the choice to include those things in our lives. To turn off the TV. Maybe to turn off the radio sometimes, to get out of our car, to walk barefoot on the earth, to lie on the earth and absorb that vibration and allow there to become a more integrated peace within ourselves. Perhaps to meditate, to pray, to aspire to our own higher capabilities. So in waking up to the body's capability of healing itself, there are many things for us to get in touch with. a more life-giving diet, cleansing our cells and our organs so that they can actually carry on the functions that they should carry on instead of being burdened by toxins and heavy foods. Changing our mind, our heart, our emotions, our spirit so that we're more in harmony with that life force capability that's so available to us. John Ray was to me a great teacher of mine, and one of the things he said, there were a couple of things he said. One was, great things are done in secret. And sometimes when we start changing in our lives, we don't need to go announce it to the world. We want to find that inner path, keep in alignment with ourselves and who we are. Begin doing that internal process that we might call secret. So the other thing Dr. John Ray used to tell us is that our perfect electronic blueprint of our body already exists. It's right here. And all we have to do is step into alignment with it and step away from the things that we allow to block us, that we allow to hold us back. So stepping into harmony with our perfect electronic blueprint and visualizing that. So if we're fighting a life-threatening illness, do we give energy to that illness and see it working in our body? Silva Mind Control, back in the early 70s, did some incredible work showing that if people would just visualize their cells being whole, they would become whole. I remember reading a story of a little boy who had cancer, and he could imagine these little fighter cells in his body going and gobbling up and chasing away and beating that cancer. You know, we have to begin to embrace wellness, embrace our wholeness, embrace our capability of truly our body's capability of healing itself. And as we embrace that, we begin to shift how our cells even function in this world. And quantum physics says that quarks are a particle of matter that actually come into being when attention is placed upon them. In the baby stages of crawling and understanding quantum physics and the real true magic of this world, this mind, body, spirit mechanism that we live, it's time for us to embrace those things, to take them on and to say, I am willing to encompass these belief systems and these knowings in my life that by the way I think, by the words that I speak, by the feelings that I feel, by the images that I hold in my mind and heart, that I am able to literally change the structure of the physical world. And this is part of waking up to the body's capability of healing itself. Whether you're carrying around extra weight, feeling out of shape, struggling with an addiction, cigarettes and alcohol, to drugs, even television, and other things that distract us from our wholeness, get on the path, because we have been given a huge gift in this lifetime. We've been given a body that is capable of regenerating itself. We've been given a mind, a heart, and a spirit that are capable of creation. And it's up to us to begin creating a vibrant, wonderful, lean, fit, healthy, energetic, whole lifestyle for ourselves with this incredible vehicle that you came into in this world, that carries your spirit, carries your mind and heart. Start treating it in the way it was meant to be treated. And wake up to your body's incredible capability of healing itself. I look forward to sharing this journey with you. Please join me on the path.